Hello, folks, and welcome back to another review and thoughts on. Uh, so yeah, my thoughts and review on Spider-Man 3. The much hated, much bashed, trashed, assaulted, and abandoned in the dumpster. The black sheep of the trilogy. Which, when I first saw this back when it came out, wasn't in the theater, but when I saw it, I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I mean, my thoughts have changed a little bit, but I still enjoy the film for what it is. I still like most of the stuff I liked when I was younger when I saw it, such as the whole team up thing with Harry and Peter at the end. I love that team up fight. Um, I like how they have they got to team up. They got to fight Sandman and Venom, and also save Mary Jane also, and cool fight. Uh, and the choreography and that is awesome. The effects to me are awesome. The way it's shot is awesome. Pretty cool moments. Not even pretty cool, they're cool moments. But yeah, like the movie, and this movie had a lot of trouble production apparently. Like Sam Raimi, he did not like Venom at all. He didn't like the character because he lacked human. I forget what it was, human emotion, or he lacked humane something. He lacked emotion, I guess. Something that he lacked. He didn't like the character, and he really was pushing for Sandman and Vulture. Vulture mostly to be put in the film. It's what I've heard and what I'm reading. That was the original plan for what he wanted to do, but the producer, Arad, I don't know how to pronounce his name, he wanted Venom. The producer wanted Venom. Sam Raimi wanted nothing to do with Venom. He had to put him in if he wanted to make the movie he wanted to make, but then also, it's not really his movie that he got to make either, because, again, watching it again, I tried to look at it more thoroughly and more detailed, I guess. And yeah, like, granted, the whole three villains, technically three villains and a half, because Harry, I like the fight that they have at the beginning after he leaves from Aunt May's. I like that scene between him and Aunt May when they're talking. Um, I wish he would have used it more in this movie. See, I would have liked it. I would have had if I was making this movie. I would have had it where, okay, so he's supposed to have amnesia. How about he's faking the amnesia? How about it's Peter? He thinks he made Harry lose his memory, so he's like, all right, I'm in the clear. But I would have had it where Harry just flat out, well, not flat, he pretends like he has amnesia, and then throughout the movie, midway, we're hit with, oh, he knows everything. He knows everything. He's been watching us the whole time, and I don't know. But then again, you would have had Venom and Sandman he would have had to deal with as well. So I don't know how you would even. I don't know how you would even do that, because again, that would be 3 villains technically, unless they. I don't know, but I think the fact that that Sam had to like cut down Harry's story, I think is bull. Not, I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming. I feel bad more because he set up stuff and then he had to cut it down because he had to fit. Because he wanted Sandman in the movie more, and I really didn't care about Sandman at all. I mean, I get he's trying to provide for his daughter because she's dying and whatever, but I never cared for his character. Even when I first watched this, I didn't. When I first watched it back in 2007, I didn't care much about his character. And even now, I would have cut him out for. If anything, you should have put I mean, there was plans of putting I think Mysterio in here. I think Bruce Campbell was gonna have a small cameo as Mysterio in a scene, but yeah, like the whole Sandman thing, him trying to get money for his daughter, and then he's actually the one who killed Uncle Ben by accident. But I'm like, and why we have to go down this memory lane? I like the fact that we already dealt with that, but then they want to bring that back. Oh, because Sam Raimi wanted the Sandman to mean more than just a petty thug back in the comics or whatever he is. Which I'm fine with changing stuff, but the actually retcon stuff, it did not need to be retconned at all. I mean, I like the fight scene with black suited Spider-Man and Sandman in the train under the sewers is pretty awesome. I'll give it that. And then he's not seen for the rest of the movie mostly until like the mid-end point where the finale of the fight where he's teaming up with Venom. And the look of Venom I actually like. I like when he's actually Venom and not, Foreman. I don't have a problem with Topher Grace. I know a lot of people make fun of his acting and he's terrible, and I don't see it. I don't understand what the big deal is. I thought he did a decent job with what he had to do. I thought he did decent, not amazing, but decent. It wasn't bad acting to me, so I don't know. I mean, I didn't really care about his character because he's just like a cocky newcomer guy who thinks he's got a hot girlfriend named Gwen Stacy. And the Gwen Stacy character I didn't really care much for even now. I mean, she's hot, but that's kind of it. Like, she's only there to like create problems between. I mean, even though she unintentionally, hurts Peter and what's his name's relationship, but really it's. And a lot of people dog on the whole Mary Jane's a different. I'm not gonna call her names, but she's annoying, and she has Peter has him in a collar and choke chain and all that. He's her slave or whatever. I tried to understand where she was coming from, because if people paid attention to her situation of life, her story in the first movie with the whole parents dynamic thing with her dad being, abusive or whatever, and then it translates to the second film as well, and then to the third film. And here, there's a scene where, after she comes from the reviews of her Broadway show, and Peter's trying to help her out with, he's trying to explain to her to not let criticism get her down, don't let people, bring her down just because she gets bad reviews doesn't mean there won't be better ones out her or coming her way or whatever. And she's like, you gotta understand how I feel and stuff like that. And like, uh, I forget the exact dialogue, but she says like the, the way the critics talk to her or whatever described her, it's like the way her father, as if her father wrote those words to her. So she's more stuck on the whole. She has that whole stigma of her dad in her head all the time. I I don't. Maybe I'm explaining it, over explaining it way too deep. Maybe I'm trying to actually, I don't know, try to understand this character's mindset in terms of attacking her like other people are just doing, instead of trying to actually, understand her. Um, but yeah, she has dad issues, and she has low self esteem. You gotta try to give her some leeway. At least I am trying to. But even the whole dinner scene when Peter at the restaurant, he tries. He shouldn't have. I will. I mean, the whole kissing Gwen Stacy upside down to Spider-Man at the Key to the City scene. I mean, it was for a show, but at the same time, I sort of get how she would feel, kinda. But at the same time, it's like he's Spider-Man in that moment. You gotta separate the two. He's not Peter. He's Spider-Man there, so it's like. But I'm trying to give her some points, or not points, but I'm trying to understand her mindset instead of just attacking her like most people do in the movie. Also, I think the film should have been more darker than what it was, such as with Venom, because Venom is pure evil. There's nothing good about him. He's just plain evil, and whatever he latches onto becomes just plain bad, unless, you know. But it should have been more darker with his scenes. There should have been, instead of, and granted, people make fun of the whole walking down the street doing that and the dancing. I can sort of. I would have cut that out, kind of. I mean, I guess it's a mirror of raindrops are falling on my head. Montage from part 2. But I don't know, that was handled way better than, to me, in the second one. Here, it's like, he's supposed to be emo and dark, and, dark, and he's walking down the street, snapping fingers, and strutting his stuff, and not really, creepy. I will say, there's certain scenes where Tobey Maguire, when he's, emo or whatever, and he gives like this weird, not weird, but this uncomfortable stare at, he has like this weird glare, this creepy glare, where he's just like dead on staring at you, and he has like dark eyeliner, and his hair's like all emo. I don't know, if we would just focus more on the dark aspect of his character. I mean, it's kind of resolved pretty fast after, oh, I knocked down Mary Jane, and he yells at his landlord. He's like, I'll give you your rent money when you fix this goddamn door. And then he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then he takes the suit off, and then he doesn't wear it for another few scenes. And then he wears it, I forget when, but this when he's taking Gwen Stacy to the bar at Mary Jane works at, and the whole Harry threatening Mary Jane to be like, if you want Peter to live, you'll listen to my instructions, and so she has to break up with him. But I'm like, you know he's Spider-Man, so it's like, I mean, maybe if they would have said some dialogue in the movie, such as, I don't know, maybe Harry has Mary Jane wearing a wire, so maybe that's why she couldn't just flat out pretend like, oh, Peter, Harry's over there, and he's threatening to kill you unless unless I break up with you. So I have to break up with you so you'll live. But I'm like, so maybe like if they would maybe should just mention like a dialogue or maybe have when she's walking away, like she can take the uh, wire or something off to show it. Oh, he would, even if she would have tried to tell Peter, he would have been listening because she's rigged, so or wired. So it's like, but they didn't do that. So it's like, why wouldn't you tell Peter that Harry's standing over there, he's threatening to hurt her and him, but mostly him. I need you to deal with him, but don't hurt him, I guess. I don't know. I could just done, but maybe I'm just trying to make up excuses for. But I'm trying to maybe create my own logical plot lines in this. But yeah, that could have been a thing. Because I was like thinking it when it was during that scene. I'm like, why didn't I ever think of that? Maybe she's wearing a wire, and Harry can listen to what she's saying, but nope. Or maybe she has an earpiece or something, but no, Mr. Anderson, no, or Mr. Smith or whatever. But yeah, and then the next scene is when Peter goes to the restaurant with or to a cafe with Harry to talk about MJ breaking up with him, and then he's like, "I'm the other guy. I was there for her," or whatever. She came to me all obstruct or whatever, and then Peter's like speechless, so he leaves. But then, as soon as he turns around, and then Harry turns around and winks at him, and then a truck. It does like that thing where it transitions from a truck passing, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And it's funny because right when the truck passes and Harry's gone in that shot, the black guy in the background turns around and looks as if he notices a guy just vanishing, and like, whoa, what? Like, that always made me laugh. Like the fact that he winks at Peter, and then the truck passes, and then in the next shot it's the black guy turning around like, wasn't somebody just sitting there? So I don't know. I thought that was funny. Then like, how did he get up and just leave? Like, I mean, I know, I guess he juiced himself up with that goblin juice or whatever. But then they have a second fight later on, or during that in the next scene, I think, and they fight. I thought that the house fight was pretty good. Pretty much he throws one of those not pumpkin, but bomb ball things, those orange bomb things, or grenades. He throws a grenade at Harry, and somehow he still survives that, and like has a scar on his side of his face later on. I'm like, it seemed like that should have done more damage, but I think I did see him like blast, like his body got blasted against the wall on the side. So okay. What else? I know I'm probably going all over the place, but I'm trying to get all my thoughts in and reviewing stuff in between. The acting was fine from everybody. I like the opening with the it recaps the other two movies. So if you haven't seen the two, if you don't remember what happened in the last two movies, then it will help you remember, which I thought was cool. But yeah, my problem mainly with the movie is I don't care about the Sandman bits. I wish they would just cut him out or replaced him or just fine, just focus on Venom and Harry. You should have just done that, but then wouldn't have got that cool team up scene. So, but then maybe you could have, but then I don't know. But yeah, the movie's set like 1 year later after the Dr. Octopus dies after the second movie. Because I was wondering this whole time since Harry and Peter's been distant. But yeah. People make fun of the whole Peter at the Broadway show for MJ. I thought it was fine. It wasn't really anything to laugh at. So what? He's mouthing the word. So what? He's singing to the. So what? He's supporting his girlfriend. I don't get it. Doesn't look like a dork. And he didn't really cry in this movie much at all, I don't think, except for 1 or 2 scenes, maybe. Like, what? So people that make fun of him crying in this movie over and over again, they're exaggerating, because I just watched the movie, and he does not cry, but I remember only once, it seems, in this movie, and that's when MJ's breaking up with him. And they won't return his phone calls. The whole, even at the beginning with Peter and Mary Jane sitting or laying in the web that he put up, and she's like, "Tell me you love me." I'm like, girlfriend, he saved you in like the last 2 movies. Why does he need to tell you that he loves you in that moment? You already know that. He'd risked his life for you. Or would risk his life for you twice. Or any time. But again, she's one of those low self-esteem girls. So it's like, So I sort of get where she's coming from, kinda. I'm looking on Wikipedia if I missed anything. I mean, the whole Harry remembering his dad's kind of abrupt, kind of quick. It's like after MJ leaves because she kissed Harry because she feels all distant, I guess, or neglected from Peter, even though, so she kisses Harry, but then she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that," and then she runs off, and he goes to drink, and then all of a sudden he hears his dad's voice, and then he touches a mirror, and then the flashes are coming to him. So I thought that was kind of quick, and whatever. And then that's when you get the whole breakup scene with Mary Jane and Peter. But yeah, overall the movie to me I thought was, it went on for 23 minutes. But overall I liked the movie still. I don't love it, but is this my favorite of the trilogy? No, because I think I did say the first one is. I would say I love the first one. I don't mind the second one. And the third one has problems. Again, with the Sandman character, I don't like him at all. And I think the movie should have been more darker with certain characters, such as Harry, and Peter's dark side should have been more amplified, even though they claim that's what the symbiote does, is amplify its host mannerisms or whatever, or impulses. But yeah, overall I like this movie. I love the team up scene, the whole where they're saving Mary Jane. I always cheered for that scene when Harry comes in and just, and the way that Sandman goes down like pretty fast, like a few missiles from Harry's glider and he's already down. Okay. And then the whole, you can tell Sam Raimi still got his horror roots, and or he still has some horror roots. Because during the scene where Peter's looking around for Venom, and you can hear sound effect, you can hear like Venom's voice screams around and surrounding him, and then the camera slowly pans around to see where he is, and that was pretty creepy. And then you see the Venom's hands grab Peter and throw him around. That was pretty cool and pretty creepy, pretty horrific, but pretty cool. The whole death of Harry was sad, really sad, because, and then at least they ended on good terms, where he apologizes and he should have never said those things to him, and Harry's like, that doesn't matter right now, and we're friends, and then Peter's like, best friends, and then Harry's like, yep, or yeah, what, I forget what he says, and then he just dies, and then they cry, and then it pans out and goes to black, and then it goes to his funeral. That was really sad. Like, I was kind of bummed that he died when I first saw it. I'm like, oh wow, they actually killed him off. So that was sad. And then it's just Mary Jane singing a song a little bit, and then Peter walks in, and then they have a slow dance, and then it just goes to black, and then the credits, and then it ends. And so I don't know where they would go from here. Like, are they gonna still be together, or are they just gonna be friends? I know there was plans for a fourth one, but since people hated this one, no. And then plus, I think because Sam Raimi, I forget what he wanted to do. I think it was something to do with Black Cat or something. And I believe the Vulture for sure in the fourth one. But I don't know where you would really go after this one, because, like, I don't know. So, but I do know that they rebooted it with The Amazing Spider-Man. And yes, I will be covering The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. When, I don't know. But I am going to watch the marked ones right now, because I'm going to be tackling down that franchise. And so stay tuned for that. And peace and love. Leave a like if you would like to. Comment and share and subscribe to the channel for more content. Ring the bell at the bottom. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care, and peace and love.